Voy a llevarte pa' PR. It's like, I'm gonna take you to PR.
We all know that Bad Bunny is headlining the Super Bowl, and while his announcement has stirred up plenty of controversy, there's no denying the excitement that has swept through Puerto Rico. His pride in our island and the way he captures the soul of Puerto Rican identity through his lyrics make this announcement extremely exciting, knowing the performance that is to come. In going over geography, food, and culture of Puerto Rico, I hope to show you the Puerto Rican identity the best I can so that we can all get lit during halftime on February 8th.
Con mucho cariño para todos ustedes.
Puerto Rico is a big rainforest with beautiful crystal clear turquoise water on the coasts and lush green mountains that are really scary to drive through further inland. Like, just look at this GPS road and tell me you're not terrified. Not to mention how small the road is. Like, I'm peeing my pants whenever I drive through these. There are cities on the coast like San Juan, Carolina, and Bayamon, and plenty more that are great places to stay and take a swim. There are also cities in the mountains like Ciales and Jayuya, which is where my family is from, so I'm a little biased, but big shout out. This is where the other side of the island vibe is, with the river and mountain hikes and indigenous hieroglyphs, which I will touch more on later. There are so many cool animals in Puerto Rico that you don't see in the US. The most iconic one is the coqui frogs. They're the island's national animal, and they make this coqui noise at night that might sound really annoying at first, but is so nice to fall asleep to. Another staple is iguanas, which are treated as pests in the island. They're an invasive species and they're ginormous, so people hunt them for sport, for fun. Their smaller, cuter counterpart are lizards, which are just cute and harmless. And you will also see a bunch of wild chickens running around, even in cities. They are super duper loud, and another classic. Another thing you will see a lot of is stray dogs and cats everywhere roaming around in packs, but in recent years they've been getting adopted more and more, which has led to less of them on the street. The temperature in Puerto Rico is also pretty different from the Midwest. In the summer it gets to highs of 100, and in the winter it stays about 70s. The humidity from being a tropical island can make it feel way hotter though, and you feel it as soon as you step outside of the airport. Unfortunately, with being a hot tropical island, there also comes a lot of natural disasters. Hurricane season is really tough in Puerto Rico because it's literally surrounded by water. The island is only 100 miles wide and 35 miles long, so you can't really get too far from the coast. During really bad hurricanes, they can leave even the most inland parts of the island devastated. My grandmother, a few years back, was trapped in, I think, Hurricane Maria or something, and she was stuck there without any contact with us for like 81 days. It gets extremely dangerous, even in the most inland part of the island, which is where she was, and it's a very scary thing for people to go through. Along with hurricanes, underinvestment in infrastructure, bad power distribution, and private management leads to many power outages.
To more than half of the island. The blackout started on Wednesday, and at its height, it left 1.4 million people in the dark and disrupted service to hospitals, airports, and hotels.
This leads many Puerto Ricans to use solar power to increase their energy independence, resilience against hurricanes, and to reduce costs. The island's abundant sunshine makes solar a practical and economically viable option, and rooftop solar systems can provide electricity when the main grid is down. Not to mention the environmental benefits, freaking save the planet. There's a lot of street food in Puerto Rico that you'll find on the side of the road. One of the most classic ones is pinchos. You'll see a lot of pincho vendors on the side of the road selling meat on a stick, usually either chicken or pork. An interesting thing about this is a lot of the vendors will have a picante option, which is like spicy, but it will never be spicy. Puerto Ricans don't do spicy. Nothing in Puerto Rico is spicy. Some other classic side of the road food is rellenos de papa, which is like a little potato filled up with meat inside. Another street vendor food is bacalaitos, which are like little salt cod fritters that are fried and they really make my stomach hurt because they're so fried, but they're good. Another thing you'll find a lot of is empanadillas, which it's the same thing as empanadas. The one I'm eating in here is like really big and closed off, but they don't usually look like that. They usually look like this. There's a lot of classic drinks in Puerto Rico. There are a lot of alcoholics in Puerto Rico, so I try to avoid any with alcohol. But coquito, which is a coconut kind of eggnog with alcohol in it. Usually people take shots of it around the holiday season. Parcha juice, which is passion fruit juice, and it's so sweet and sour and delicious. And last but not least, Malta India, which is like a Coke, and it's kind of like rich. It's kind of like a dark Coke. It's like Coke's evil twin. Moving on to main dishes, mofongo is a classic. You will find it on every single menu along with tostones. Mofongo and tostones are basically the same thing. They are fried plantains mofongo is crushed into a ball and usually filled up with some type of meat. And then tostones are like crushed up into a chip. You will find these everywhere in Puerto Rico, no matter where you are. Every single restaurant will serve this, along with churrasco, which is basically a skirt steak. If you ever have had skirt steak from Costco, that's pretty similar to it. It's a very flavorful, tender steak that kind of just melts in your mouth. Another classic is arroz con gandules, which is rice and gandules. I really don't know what gandules are, but there's like beans, and then there's kind of like olives inside of it sometimes. It has a yellow color because of a sazon packet that they use from Goya. I actually really don't know if anyone else uses anything different than this specific sazon packet, but that's what everyone that I know in the world uses. So another classic Puerto Rican food that you can only get on Sundays is lechon, and you usually get it at a lechonaria, and it is like pork on a stick. It kind of looks like a cartoon. It's like a pig roast, and what is so incredibly important and juicy and delicious about it is the skin. The skin tastes like what I can only describe as biting into a really sticky piece of rubber, but it's like super hard, and it is so incredibly delicious. It's kind of fatty, but it has a lot of flavor. An interesting thing about the food culture in Puerto Rico is that even though every food is like fried in most restaurants, a lot of people in Puerto Rico don't really eat out that much. A lot of people's diets consist of fruits from trees, since it's so common for mangoes to just be falling everywhere, and star fruit, and like just a bunch of tropical fruits that like you won't really find in the US so easily. And people also eat a lot of salads with just like tomatoes and like a little bit of oil and just like plain meat, and that is kind of balancing out a lot of the oils that are in so much of the food in Puerto Rico. Finally, and most importantly, I want to talk about the culture in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of art everywhere. All of the art that I'm showing is kind of just the tip of the iceberg, since all of the videos I took were in Jayuya. But even in this small town, every small store, in every alley, and on every street corner, you will find some type of art or mural. Architecture is really unique to anything you would ever see anywhere in the Midwest, completely different in all aspects. Walls are often made out of concrete to combat the hurricanes, and there's basically never carpet. A lot of homes are pretty open for the most part too, and extremely colorful. I personally find this to be one of the most beautiful parts of Puerto Rico. The diversity with every house and how personal they are is just so amazing and beautiful and stunning. A large portion of the population in Puerto Rico is Catholic, so Christmas is pretty widely celebrated along with a Puerto Rico specific holiday called Three Kings Day. Three Kings Day in Puerto Rico is celebrated on January 6th to commemorate the visit of the three wise men to baby Jesus, and it is considered the main event of the holiday season, even more so than Christmas Day. It's where most of the gift giving actually takes place, because on the night of January 5th, kids will fill up shoe boxes with grass for the horses of the three kings. In the actual like Bible, it's camels, but since we're in Puerto Rico, it's horses because there's horses everywhere. And in return, the three kings bring gifts to the children into their little shoeboxes. Along with the gift giving, people also celebrate with parades and family gatherings. Before the Spanish came to Puerto Rico, nobody was Catholic there. There was the Taino people who worshipped like completely different gods. They were following an animistic religion. And they had a lot of hieroglyphs that I was mentioning earlier in the rivers. Jayuya which is my family's hometown, is kind of deemed as the indigenous capital of Puerto Rico, and they hold a festival every year to honor and celebrate the Taino heritage of the island. They worshipped gods like the Taino sun. It's not really gods, it's kind of just they worshipped, whoever gave them food and water and light. Puerto Rico is a vibrant fusion of Taino, African, and Spanish influences with a strong modern addition of American and North American elements. This blend is evident in the island's language, music, dance, food, traditions, etc., which are a testament to its history and resilience. The island's ties with the United States have led to a significant cultural exchange. The most strong example of this, in my personal opinion, is how much the Puerto Ricans love the Yankees and New York in general, but like the Yankees are like a big staple. They treat the Yankees kind of like their own team, and they wear their hats all the time. But even when speaking to other Spanish speakers, it can be hard to communicate because there's a very different influence in Puerto Rico and the accent is not the same. So like, for example, if you were to have the phrase están cerrados, which means they are closed, they would say están cerrados, which is they drop the D, they drop the S, and their R's, instead of rolling the R, they do like a, and it's like kind of like an L more. It's kind of hard to explain, but even though these twinges are so minor, because Puerto Ricans speak so fast, it can be hard to communicate something because the accent is pretty different. There's also a very strong emphasis on family and community that is really beautiful and something that is super hard to put into words. You kind of treat all of your extended family as your immediate family. The family structure is a very tight one. Puerto Rican children and young adults cherish the love of and approval of their parents. Respect for grandparents, aunts, uncles, and distant relatives is a way of life for the Puerto Rican people. Key cultural expression includes music like salsa, bamba, and reggaeton. Something about the music can transport you right back onto the island, no matter how far you are. Bad Bunny is a great example of this, using influences from every aspect of culture in Puerto Rico. His love for the island and authenticity is exactly what makes him so loved, and in my opinion is why he's a great choice for the Super Bowl.
People are wondering if I can host this show because English is not my first language. I don't know if they know, but I do whatever I want.